Commander Jothik had seen 1,000 species pass through the obsidian gates of the Karis Military Academy. The ancient institution, perched on the edge of a neutron star, had forged the galaxy's finest warriors for 3 millennia. Its gravity wells crushed the weak, its combat simulations killed the unprepared, and its instructors showed no mercy to any cadet regardless of their homeworld's political influence. But he had never seen anything quite like Marcus Chen. The human had arrived 6 standard months ago, delivered in a diplomatic transport as part of Earth's first official exchange program with the Galactic Confederation. The counselors had laughed behind closed appendages. Humans were new to the galactic stage, barely past their first faster-than-light experiments, armed with primitive kinetic weapons and still divided into squabbling nation-states. Sending one of their military officers to Karis was either breathtaking arrogance or profound ignorance. Jothik had expected the human to wash out in the first week. The Academy's entrance trial alone had claimed the lives of 47 cadets that cycle. The gravity was set at 3.2 standard units, enough to liquefy the internal organs of most carbon-based life forms. The oxygen mix was intentionally toxic to over 60% of known species, forcing cadets to rely on respiratory augmentation from day one. Marcus Chen had walked through it breathing normally. His world, the medical officer had explained, mandibles clicking nervously, has a gravity of 1.1 standard units, higher than 70% of inhabited worlds, and their atmosphere. It's naturally oxygen-rich. 21%. They evolved breathing what we consider a corrosive accelerant. The human's physical advantages were concerning enough, but it was his mind that truly disturbed Jothik. In the tactical simulations where cadets commanded fleets against impossible odds, Marcus consistently chose strategies that made no logical sense. He sacrificed ships that should have been preserved. He retreated from winning positions. He ignored supply lines and communication protocols. By every metric of military doctrine refined over thousands of years, he should have failed spectacularly. Instead, he won every single scenario. He fights like he's already dead, observed Subcommander Vexry after reviewing the human's latest simulation, like he has nothing to lose. Jothik had pulled up Earth's military history that night, something he should have done months earlier. What he found chilled his 3-chambered heart. Humans had been at war with themselves for their entire recorded history. They had developed over 50 different words for types of warfare. They had built weapons capable of rendering their own planet uninhabitable, and had come within moments of using them, multiple times before finally achieving fragile peace. They called it mutually assured destruction, and they had lived under its shadow for generations. The species that survived their own extinction had developed a very particular philosophy about combat. If you're willing to die, you've already won. The breaking point came during the Academy's infamous final gauntlet, a month-long war game conducted in real ships with live ammunition, set in an asteroid field laced with actual mines and automated defense platforms. Cadets were divided into 2 fleets. The objective was simple: total annihilation of the opposing force. Marcus Chen was given command of the smaller fleet, the traditional disadvantage assigned to test leadership under pressure. His force consisted of 20 aging frigates against 47 modern cruisers and destroyers. No cadet in Karis history had ever won from such a position. The human's opening move was to ram his flagship directly into the enemy's command carrier. Both ships erupted in a ball of plasma that registered on sensors from 3 star systems away. The enemy fleet, stunned by the suicidal attack, hesitated for 7 precious seconds as their chain of command dissolved into chaos. Marcus, who had quietly transferred to a secondary vessel before impact, struck with his remaining 19 ships in a coordinated assault that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. He lost 16 ships in the next 40 minutes, but the enemy lost all 46 of their remaining vessels. When the simulation ended and the surviving cadets returned to base, Marcus Chen stepped out of his cockpit with the same calm expression he'd worn since arriving. His flight suit was soaked with sweat. His dark eyes were bloodshot from high-G maneuvers, but he showed no signs of the psychological trauma that was standard after such intensive combat. "Cadet Chen," Jothik had approached him in the hangar bay. "That was the most horrifying display of tactical command I have witnessed in 40 years of military service." The human had simply nodded. "Thank you, sir." I did not mean it as a compliment. I know, sir. Jothik studied the creature before him. Bipedal, hairless except for the top of his head, built lean and efficient rather than imposing. Humanity had no natural armor, no venom, no claws. They were persistence hunters from a death world, and their greatest weapon was the absolute refusal to stop, even when stopping was the logical choice. You sacrificed yourself to win, Jothik said carefully. In a real war, you would be dead. In a real war, sir, my enemy would also be dead. That's acceptable math where I come from. The commander felt his scales ripple with involuntary unease. The other species in the Confederation fought wars for territory, resources, or ideology. They fought to win. Humans, he was beginning to understand, fought to ensure their enemy lost, even if it cost them everything. 3 weeks later, Marcus Chen graduated at the top of his class. The Galactic Confederation's military brass attended the ceremony, watching the human receive his honors with barely concealed dread. They had wanted to test Earth's best warrior, to measure humanity's potential contribution to galactic security. They had succeeded beyond their worst nightmares. As Marcus walked across the stage, Jothik leaned toward the High Admiral and whispered, "We've made a terrible mistake. How so? We've just taught a human everything we know about warfare, and now he's going home to teach the others." The High Admiral's bioluminescent patterns flickered with concern as she watched Marcus Chen shake hands with the Academy's headmaster. The human was smiling, a peculiar baring of teeth that his species somehow considered friendly. "Perhaps," the High Admiral said slowly, "we should ensure humanity remains our ally." "Perhaps," Jothik agreed. "We have no other choice." In the front row, completely unaware of the anxiety he'd generated among the galaxy's most powerful military leaders, Marcus Chen accepted his diploma and thought about home. Earth was waiting. And after 6 months at the toughest military school in the galaxy, he finally had something valuable to bring back to his people. Knowledge. And the galaxy would never be quite the same.